Hey guys, welcome. Gregg Thomas here for the Muskie Road Rules podcast. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching every week. I know last week we didn't get one up, and I apologize for that, but it's the summertime, and we're just going to have stuff like that, especially with busy fishing schedule and everything going on. Most of the guys I'm talking to are out on the water, and coordinating and stuff is a little rough sometimes, but we got you one here this week. Thanks for watching on the Patreon. Again, the Patreon is the Muskie Road Rules podcast. All you have to do is go to patreon.com, type in Muskie Road Rules, and we'll pop right up. Become a member. It's easy. It's $8 a month. And that's going to enter you into our drawing for our monthly bait giveaway. This month, we've got 3 custom showgirls from Muskie Mayhem Tackle. Guys, you know, I'm sure you've heard of Muskie Mayhem Tackle out there. Most people have. You got 3 custom colors there, and they could be yours. We're going to draw here at the end of the month for that. So, guys, today, it's actually middle of the day. We're doing split shifts right now, and it's, we've just went through a huge heat wave up here at Lake of the Woods, and I'm sure if you're in the North Country, I got to pull my microphone a little bit here. There we go. If you're in the North Country, you've been experiencing it too. It's just been brutal. But we've been doing split shifts, so we're doing one in the middle of the day. And today, again, I keep thinking it's night. I got to get a nap. We've got Mr. Mat Hegy, who's going to be joining us on the podcast. He's from Matt's Reel Repair from up in Eagle River, Wisconsin. Matt, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. So you were mad at technology a little earlier.
Well, yeah, I've been dragged out of the Stone Age kicking and screaming, I guess.
I totally get that. How's things up in the Eagle River area?
Warm. I'm sure just like you, maybe not quite as warm. It looked like you guys had us beat by a few degrees yesterday, so.
Yeah, well, we actually hit 100 on Saturday or on Sunday.
Yeah. So
it was we've been in the mid 90s, but today it's 80 degrees and it feels wonderful outside. So, and we're supposed to be cooling down all week, so I'm really looking forward to it. So, how is anybody out fishing there in Eagle River?
There's guys out fishing. I know the muskie leagues have all postponed because of the warm water temperatures. We're in the mid 80s, I think, right now on a lot of the lakes.
Wow.
So, we've been holding off on muskie fishing and chasing other stuff. From what I've been hearing, the bass bite's been pretty good, but I don't get much time on the water, as most people know. So
busy in the reel shop, I would say. So what is in the summertime up there, what's the big thing that you're doing? Is there anything specific that you see more in the summer, or is it always about the same all year?
Yeah, pretty much the same all year. I think the big thing that we see in the summer is breakdowns. We get more winter maintenance and repairs in the off season. But like this time of year, we get guys that are out fishing, they break something, and then they need it fixed for their next trip or their next outing, whatever it may be.
Or tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or this afternoon.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I'm sure there's the guys that are up on their weekly trip or their yearly trip, and they have a reel take a crap, and they're hoping that you can fix it.
Yeah, certainly. And, we try to accommodate as much as we can, but like all morning today was just nonstop, customers walking in with little things, and we try to accommodate, but sooner or later we can't accommodate all the little things. So people have to come back, unfortunately.
No, I get that. I mean, it's part of the game and stuff. And, what is well, let me ask you this, so what is the most common breakdown, or maybe a few of the most common breakdowns that you see?
In muskie reels and, with most base casting reels, it's definitely level winds and anti-reverses, as you should well know.
Oh yeah, I love a good anti-reverse. I can bust them with the best of them.
Right.
Uh, that's especially if you're throwing any real jerky rubber baits, ripping rubber from the weeds, or you hook that wonderful rock and set the hook
Yep.
and that stuff. That's the I'm sure that's a pretty common ailment you got. The level wines. What's with that? What is the most common breakdown of those level wines? What's something that people should watch?
In my opinion, I think the biggest problem that we see is guys over lubricate them. 40 years ago with the old ambassadors, and prior to that, the old Fluger Supremes and stuff. A lot of guys, you had to keep them lubricated to keep them running because they were steel parts and they would rust if they weren't lubricated. But
Mm-hmm.
now with the modern alloys, the stainless steel, the brass, they don't require as much lubrication, and the lubrication just attracts dust, dirt, grit, and sticks everything to those moving parts and becomes a lapping compound or a sanding paste for lack of a better term. So as that breaks down and wears, the tolerances get larger, and things start to move and bend and turn in different directions that they shouldn't, and then suddenly the line's piling up, or you got a wind knot because everything was piled up on one side and you didn't catch it in time. So um,
Now, do you see, like, I remember in the old Ambassador days, the 55, 6500 Cs, those things, a lot of those, the pawls, on the reels that would actually run on the worm gear, would
mhm.
go out bad. Is that something you still see? Because I don't notice that as much anymore.
We do see that a lot. What'll happen is that if you kind of picture like a knife edge, the piece is kind of comes to a point, but it bows out. And over the course of time, those parts get thinner and thinner and thinner. And then that pawl becomes too thin that it won't track properly in that worm shaft for you.
Mm,
And that normally, what happens, the guy's reeling and he feels like he hit a weed or something, powers through, next cast, now the line's piling up on you. It happens that quick.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I used to go through those all the time. I used to keep a little baggie in the boat when I was fishing, years 25 years ago with those old ambassadors.
Sure.
They were really really bad for that. But I don't notice it. I've been right now I throw a lot of the uh, Shimano the Tranks, either the 400 or 500, and
Hmm.
then the Conquest reels. That I don't notice it as much, and I just didn't know if it was something that you've seen that often.
Yeah, it's still probably the most common wear part. It just doesn't wear in the same way. For instance, this is a great example. We get Tranks 500s and you get an HG. We can almost guarantee it's an anti-reverse. You get a PG, it's almost always the level wind. And it's not because the parts are different between the two reels. It's just how we're using it. The PG is high load, heavy resistance. The HG is that constant ripping, you
Hmm.
know, because they're looking for that high speed pickup. So
Hmm.
different parts will wear based on how we're, our fishing style or technique.
Okay. Okay. It's summertime right now. You got a lot of guys, especially doing their trips up north and stuff. Um, for a lot of guys, this is the time of year they're throwing a lot of bucktails, blade baits, and doing some ripping as well. But the one thing that I've been big on over the last, God, probably 5 years, I've really pushed in talks and here on the podcast is handles
Yep.
and how important a handle is and how important a handle and how much fatigue the handle can take off of you while you're fishing because now we have these big reels that have really fast gear, they have high gear ratios. You're able to pull in baits at extreme speeds. The thing is with that is that with that causes your hand to cramp up more. You've got more torque on your hand, and it's a really, really, um, it can wear you out, is what I just tell guys. And by changing the handles, and most of these reels have interchangeable handles that companies make and stuff, but I don't think guys realize it or take advantage of it. Do you see guys doing that more now, or is that something that you still see guys not doing as much?
Oh, we definitely see that, and we try to stay ahead of that or stay on top of it, I should say. And we've been selling handles at the sports shows and helping guys upgrade and modify to fit their needs for a lot of years now. And it's definitely a benefit, and as I'm getting older, I notice that, the arthritis and carpal tunnel, so to speak, is not playing as well with the double paddle handles as it used to when I was younger.
Mhm.
So now I'm starting to think about, maybe it's time to go to those power handles, because it just changes the dynamic of how you hold that, instead of being finger and thumb and a lot of small wrist movements. Now you're grabbing it more like a doorknob,
Mhm.
and that's taking out those small muscles in your hand, and it's actually allowing your grip to relax a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, and it for me, it just makes retrieving bigger lures easier. You can retrieve bigger lures faster.
Right.
You don't have near the drag, and in the boat, I'll have guys and we'll talk about it, and then I'll hand them a reel, and let's say it's something, and maybe it's double nines or something like that, a bigger bucktail, and they start throwing it with those bigger handles, and they most of the time they don't even believe it's that big a blade, because it is that much easier
Right.
on them before they've actually done that. So
Yeah.
you've got some handles there. Let's kind of talk about them. What are the handles that you got?
I grabbed some of the more popular ones, like the Tranks 400 and 500, for instance. If I can hold these in a way that you can see them, let me know. The
Yeah.
400 and 500. There's the 400 is actually shorter than the 500, believe it or not. So
I thought
even
the 500 shorter than the 400, isn't it?
did I say it backwards?
Yes.
That's been my day. Kind of like
Yeah.
technology today. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, the 500 is shorter than the 400. You are correct. So,
Why
I
is
mean,
that?
I think it was just by design. I think they were, possibly trying to keep that 500 a little more compact in the rod locker,
Hmm.
shorter handle. I mean, that's my theory. Um, Also, why they don't put a counterweight on these reels. They were
Hmm.
designed to cast, and they took that counterweight off. And I think because when you start going to a longer handle, you add that counterweight to offset it. Now you got a handle that's 6, 7, 8 inches long, and that's going to take up a lot of space.
Hmm.
It's clunky, so they shortened it by half.
Oh wow. Yeah.
You
The
know,
uh the thing too, with those handles, I really like that 500 handle. I find it more comfortable. I wonder why they did the 500 with like a softer or the rubberized coated handle, and then the 400 is just a hard plastic.
I think it's just the trend. A lot of the handles that are coming out of Japan, it seems like, are either carbon fiber, plastic, machined aluminum. They're going to that route, and I think it's because people got tired of the plastic or rubber grips wearing, breaking down from sunscreen and bug spray and sweat and stuff. The new plastic handles just are pretty much impervious to a lot of that stuff, so they just don't change over time.
Sure, sure. And I mean, they make stuff you could put on a hard plastic handle, right, to give more grip.
Yeah, I've had guys use like plastic dip, the same stuff you'd put on like player handles, to give them that rubber texture coating.
Hmm.
We've had guys wrap them with golf tape, all kinds of different things.
Yeah, yeah. And I've seen that too. I know that wind grip. I've seen guys put wind grip on there and
Sure. Yep,
everything
golf tape.
to make them a little easier to hold on to and stuff. They're still not bad. Um, but the 400 handle, it is a little longer, so I do like that.
Hmm.
And with those handles, what are there's other handles out there that they make that you can put on. So let's say you do have some Shimano products. Let's say you are fishing with a Tranx, and you want to
Hmm.
add some length to it or something to make it easier to reel in.
Right.
What are some ones that you would suggest?
Well, a lot of times with like the Tranx 400, guys that want a counterweighted power handle, then they go to like the handle off of the Lexa 400, for instance.
And will that
And
fit?
the shaft size is the same.
Hmm.
And believe me, from what I've learned, it is not because the companies all sat down and said, "Hey, let's make this universal." But you do lose a little length, but
Hmm.
you gain that counterweight and you gain the EVA foam, which a lot of guys want to get away from that hard plastic, shiny. Um, another option to go would be to like go to like the Lexa. There's your wind grips,
Hmm.
but again, Alexa 400 handle, but in a double power or double power handle instead of the smaller paddles. So you're grabbing it more like a doorknob instead of pinching with your thumb and finger. And then you gain that some of that leverage by length.
Yeah.
So it's like putting a pipe on the end of a wrench. You get extra leverage by getting it out away from center farther.
So that Lexa, that double one that you had there, is it
Yeah.
longer than the 400 handle?
The stock Lexa handle,
Yeah.
it's same length.
Okay.
Yeah, it
Okay.
just gives you two paddles versus one, but in
Oh,
a in
okay.
a in a power knob. So it's balanced and
Hmm.
you benefit by the double paddles or the power handle knob.
Okay. Okay. And that the counterweight, are they doing that so they don't engage the reel during the cast?
Correct. It helps prevent that. Absolutely. Whereas when you go to what they call a jigging handle, like the Tranx 400 and 500, that's non-counterweighted, you definitely risk having that handle wanting to come around and engage on you on the cast um, easier. There's always the risk of it happening, even with a balanced handle, just by fishing with rain gear on or bumping it with your arm or in the transition from left to right kind of thing. You tap the handle. It can happen.
Yeah, no, I see it, especially with some of the handles I've tried. I really like the Trinidad handle,
Yep.
but it's so heavy. You have to be really careful the position it's in when you go to
Yep.
cast.
Yeah, because that's like what 30% or so bigger than the Tranx 500 knob.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's quite a bit of mass in that knob, and it's rubber coated, so it's heavier. So I mean that even accentuates that wanting to come around with inertia and engage
Hmm.
on you.
Yeah, it went with when you do go, a big thing I always tell guys that when you do go to a longer handle or upgrade like that, changing your casting style might be something you have to do.
Correct.
You can't cast flat reel. When I tell guys, you go hold the reel flat
Right.
when you cast. You need to either hold it sideways with either the handle sticking up, or if you're throwing a right hand retrieve, you cast with your right hand, the handle should be sticking up. Or if you're casting left-handed, the handle should be straight down, and you're casting with the reel completely sideways. And
Right.
that helps. If you do that, it won't, it almost certainly won't engage. um, it's a good way to do it. And plus, I cast that way too, because it just, to me, it's more comfortable.
Right.
uh,
Yeah. Actually turning the reel sideways instead of holding it like this, your hand's actually like this. And like you said, either the handle is up here or it's down here now instead
mhm.
of holding it and it's forward facing. That certainly makes a big difference on ergonomics for, wrist comfort, hand comfort, and overall, over how many casts a day, it adds up.
Yeah, no, it makes a huge a huge difference. Now I know you got one there, a handle that I think I'm the reason for a few of the orders on. What
Oh, yeah, probably one or two. Yeah.
um, is that still the longest one that's out there?
The proverbial Gregg Thomas handle. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. This is the longest of the jigging handles that we offer or that I've come across, actually.
Yeah. Now put up it next to like that 400 handle there, and guys can see
Yeah.
kind of the
See if I can.
difference.
So
Yeah,
you're
it's.
even on this handle actually has two settings,
Mm-hmm.
whereas the Tranx 400 only has one. And even on the shortest setting, it's still, if I can get that to line up somewhat decent, it's actually longer than the
Mm-hmm.
shortest setting or than the 400 itself.
Yeah, and
So
I use it. I use that on the short setting too on some reels, and it makes a big difference.
correct. Yeah. I mean, you're adding approximately 3/8 of an inch to almost a half inch on the
Mm-hmm.
short setting for the 400. And on the five or on the outside setting, you're gaining an inch and a quarter, I think.
Yeah, no, it makes such a huge difference. Those handles. The only thing that I've found with the longer handles, and I'm sure this is something that you see too, is that when guys set the hook, and I'm sure I do it too, you don't realize it, but you set the hook with both hands, especially
Right.
while you're reeling. And so you pull, not only are you pulling with the hand that is on the reel, but you also pull with the hand that's on the handle. And I've seen guys set the hook, and I look at the handle, and it's like in a moon shape. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Uh, and and yeah, but I think that's just part of it. I mean, uh, you do that, and you can bend those back pretty easily. They're aluminum handles, aren't they?
Yeah, they're aircraft aluminum. So they do bend, but eventually you flex them too many times, they will break on you, unfortunately.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
Yeah,
I had a guy one time we're reeling in bucktails, and he actually broke a stand. I don't know. Only time I've never seen it except this one time. He was just throwing a regular Tranks 500, bringing in a bucktail, sets the hook, and broke the handle clean off of it.
sure.
It just snapped in half. So then we're landing the fish hand over hand to get it in. But they will do it. You can build them back, or bend them back. But like I tell guys, the benefits of just the fatigue and stuff to me outweigh that part of it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And go ahead.
I was going to say, just the fact that, you can fish a little harder or longer throughout the day by adding the leverage to make it a little less work, so to speak. It goes a long ways throughout the day, especially in this hot weather.
Yes, yes, definitely. Now, do they make a handle I really like, and I think you told me they don't make it anymore. Or you can't find them. The is it the LVJ handle?
LJV. Yeah.
LJV,
Yep.
that one.
Yep. Yep. That handle, unfortunately, has been out of production, out of stock for, I would say, almost 10 years now. I bet
Yeah,
maybe longer.
that I've still got a couple of them. That's a great handle.
Yep.
It works really good on the 400s, and I've got a couple now with those on it, and it's really really nice. It's not bulky. It has a smaller ball on it to grab a hold of, and it just seems to really retrieve baits really really nicely. And I wish um, I could find those handles because those are really nice. I put those super long handles on. Usually those are on my Conquest for just reeling in bucktails. Now that I've went through so many anti-reverses, those are strictly bucktail reels now and crankbait reels. No more ripping rubber with those because let me tell you, they don't like it.
Yeah. A lot of lure, or I'm sorry, a lot of reels out there are designed for, rough service, but there's also a lot that are designed for more of a straight retrieve. Um, and the Conquest seems to be one of those that is a top water bucktail straight retrieve. You start getting into ripping and twitching, and they get ugly. I
Yeah,
don't like
no,
it.
they. Oh no, yeah, you've taken apart mine. You've seen how things just fall out.
Yep.
Um, they. What, in your opinion, if you're a guy out there looking to buy some reels and stuff, what would be like the top three musky reels for straight retrieve stuff and for like ripping, working rubber stuff like that?
hmm Well, for straight retrieve, I really do like, the Tranks 400s, 300s, the Lexas, the TWs, the Pro Rexes. Um, they've been, good reels. Every application has the right tool, and those reels seem to shine better for a straight retrieve. Tranks 500s, um, the Ambassador, or well, it was the Revo Toro Beast, which is now the Beast 400, I believe, is their new version.
Yeah, I actually have one of those. I was so anti Ambassador for a long time, and I'll tell you the story why. When I was in probably late teens, I had bought Ambassador came out with, I don't know, I think I would call it a retro series. It was all metal. It looked like the old ones, like the size
Okay.
and stuff etched into it. And I bought one. I'd saved up my money. I bought one, and I was so proud of this reel. And it was the biggest pile of crap I had ever bought in my life. It just would not hold up. And so I'd send it into Ambassador then, and they would tell me it was fixed. They would send it back to me. Within a day, it was broke. And I'm like, what is going on? So I sent it back to again, and I call the guy who was fixing it. And old boy must have been having a bad day or first day or something. And he told me, he said, well, you're just fishing too much. And I'm like, oh, well, okay. I said, well, let's just say I'm not fishing too much. Why is this reel breaking? He goes, well, are you oiling it? And I go, yeah, I've put oil on it and stuff and everything. He goes, well, these reels are designed to be oiled every 8 to 10 casts. His
Yeah.
exact words. And I go, 8 to 10 casts. I'm gonna have to a Quaker State jug in my boat.
Yeah.
Uh, and I'm like, and so that just made me mad. So I was like anti Abu for a very, very long time. And
Sure.
I just did not like it. But my friend Matt from Crash's Landing down in Kentucky, he got some of those new. Did you say they're 400 Beast is what they
Yeah.
are?
Yep.
And he said, "Here, try this spring and let me know what you think." And I ended up loving it. I ended up just buying it from him, and then we're still using it today. And that's I've had it now 4 months. March is when I started with it, and I've had no problems with it. It'll probably blow up tonight, but I've not had any issues with it, and I really really like that reel. The only thing is it's very bulky on the reel side,
Yeah.
on
Yep.
the hand
Yeah.
on the handle side.
Yeah. The oversized gearbox on it is what you're
Hmm.
talking about.
Yeah. So what is that? What is that? I mean, is that where all the guts are?
That's where all the important stuff is, right? And what they did was, starting with the old Calcutta 400 TE, they added that drop. That was the first time they really added that drop down gearbox to accommodate a larger gear. And by, a lot of math and stuff that I don't understand, the the gear ratio will remain the same, but the energy to turn the gears reduces when they get larger is kind of the breakdown that I've gotten out of that. And I may be explaining that incorrectly, but as the gears get bigger, you can still maintain that same gear ratio that they're looking for, but you're just turning those gears more efficiently. And that's what actually the Calcutta TE stood for. Was TE was total efficiency.
Nice. So what is
So
didn't they try that with they had the Calcutta D there for a while. Is it
yep.
still around?
I think that's been discontinued. And there again, they didn't really, they didn't use that gearbox the way they should have, like the Ambassador, Beast 400. That was only a 5:1 gear ratio for that Calcutta 400D. So it was a little slow, and I think that was part of the problem.
Yeah. Yeah, I threw them a little bit. They felt weird because there was literally the palming side of the reel where your hand it was just a solid piece of metal, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very thin,
Mm-hmm.
because there was no gears or anything on that side, just a bearing.
Yeah.
Just a bearing supporting that spool. So they were trying to make a more compact, full size bait caster out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was that's kind of what I noticed and everything. The that Abu though, the only thing, did they make a power handle for that?
I believe so. We do have power handles for them that'll fit.
Okay.
Like for instance, the handle off the Revo Toro Beast series fits that because they
Okay.
went to a different shaft size. So, like your Gregg Thomas handle, for instance, would not fit on it
Yeah.
because they
No.
changed that.
Yeah. Isn't it does it have a post or is it a screw in type deal?
Well, the handle sits on a post, and then there is a screw in. There's a screw that attaches and holds that handle in place, but it's
Mm-hmm.
actually sitting on a post, whereas there was a few versions of reels out there that had a threaded screw that held the handle completely, which I
Mm-hmm.
think failed and didn't work properly. But the beasts have been holding up really well. I mean, um, I would say, Tranks 500, the new Beast 400, for instance, those are probably the two pinnacles right now in the muskie world for robust reels, for rough duty, ripping. Um, they just seem to be holding up better than everything else. And I think it's primarily that gear size. The drivetrain in those is so much larger than everything else on the market.
Yeah. No, I like that. And the other thing about that beast too is that it's smaller if you're not comfortable or something. You got smaller hands and you don't want that big 500. That reel fits a little more comfortably.
Right. Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little smaller.
Yeah, that's something that I've noticed. But yeah, I tried it and thought it was just good. Why did they alter it? Was it more for it was something with the drag they were having issues with, or
Right. There was some drag issues that they kind of pulled it back and made a few changes. Um, but all in all, the guys that got the first version, because we're in a warranty center for Abu Garcia, we have not seen problems with the original versions. So it
okay,
must have been a very small margin of reels that actually slipped through the cracks, so to speak.
yeah. Well, now let's talk about maintenance because that's something that I'm really good at. Um, yeah, never any problems with maintenance here.
Right. Right.
Um, caring for your reels, give us some tips on caring for them, and do you have to take the drag off? Does that hurt them?
In years past, loosening the drag certainly was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, with the modern reels, it's not as much of a game changer anymore. I mean, certainly I recommend backing the drag off at the end of the season. That's always a good thing to do. But over the course of the fishing season, if you're out there a couple times a week or whatever, or like for instance, me, I might be able to sneak out one night a week for Tuesday night league. I leave my drag set. I'll
Mm-hmm.
check it, but I'll leave it tight all summer, pretty
Mm-hmm.
much.
Okay. Yeah, because that was always something guys like, oh, you back your drag off at the end of the day, and I'd go, yeah, I never did. Um, uh, never.
False
Uh,
advertising.
exactly. Bullshit. So that's always something I was curious about. What else, or what are some other little tips for guys if they're, it's summertime, they're going to be out fishing? What are some little tips you can give them for, keeping their reels up and going?
Right. Well, we kind of brushed on it earlier about we were talking about level wines and how the pawl and worm shaft wear down. The biggest culprit has always been over lubrication. So, I tell guys to, try and keep that as clean as possible, get the dust and dirt out of there, keep the grease and oil off of it. We actually, when we service a reel, we send those back out dry because I
Okay.
found that metal on metal is less abrasive than metal on metal with a grit in between it.
Hmm.
So, keeping that dry, no oil, no grease, it just keeps those level wines running. Um, it doesn't hurt to wipe down your reels once in a while, a little preventative maintenance to help get some of that sediment out of the water, plant material, particles from the braided line, keep all that stuff from building up on the reel because eventually it all finds its way into the reel. And then it's
Hmm.
in the bearings, it's in the gears, it starts breaking other things down and prematurely wearing things that shouldn't, be worried about.
Yeah. That and if you don't have real oil, extra virgin olive oil, right? That's the
There you
best.
go. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Or just dunk it in the lake.
Oh, I've done that. Hey, I've quieted many a reel by washing it a little bit right there.
Yeah.
It shuts them right up.
Yeah.
Um, what what are what's something like when you go to oil a reel? What is the most important parts of the reel to oil? If you are, if the reel's squealing.
Well, you know, bearings, spool bearings are probably the most common culprit for a lot of noise. That and idle gears. Over the course of the winter, for instance, between storage going hot and cold, that grease will actually migrate and find its way out of places where it should be, and then find its way into places it shouldn't be. And you end up with a reel that works in the fall. You put it away, you pick it up in the spring, and suddenly now it's screaming. It's probably because that grease has moved or the oil has migrated away from what it needs to lubricate and now is stuck to the side plate or something doing
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
Um,
What's the best? You know, is most real oil all the same, or is there a brand that you like?
um, the Abu Garcia oil and grease seems to be the most forgiving, so to speak, across the board for brand of reel, temperature ranges across musky country. That seems to be the most forgiving, and it's easily available at a lot of bait shops.
Hmm.
You can also pick it up at hardware stores. It's the same product under the Super Lube label because it's a Teflon based grease.
Okay.
Um,
That's good to know. I hadn't heard that before.
we here in the shop we actually use grease and oil specific to the company brand.
Hmm.
We have Shimano stuff specifically for Shimano and Abu for Abu and Daiwa and so on. But for the average guy out there, that Abu Garcia grease and oil has been probably the most easily accessible.
Okay. Yeah, you see it in stores and stuff in the little tubes with the little pinhole at the end
Yep.
and stuff. And I didn't know if there was like a certain brand that was better than others or not. I'd never really ask anybody.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, there's certainly a lot better oils and greases out there on the market, but for ease of access and for most guys who, you know, they want to be as minimalistic as possible, that's the way to go.
yeah, yeah. Anything else you can give some tips for some guys?
I mean, always put your backing under your braid, put some monofilament backing. Don't back it with old braid because
Yeah,
that gives you the same problem. Still to this day, 9 times out of 10, if a customer walks in with a reel that the drag's not working, it's not the reel, it's the line spinning on the spool.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. That happened when as soon as I got up to the angle this year, a guy came up to me and was asking me about reels and said his drag was out. And I pulled on it and I said, watch the spool. And when I pulled on it, you could see the line spin and the spool wasn't moving.
Yep, yep. It's hands down the most common mistake that's made out there. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's, there's, guys are doing that out of, quick, easy, they just grab a spool and fill it up and go, and not think about it, or, they don't worry that it's going to spin. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. I've seen it a lot myself. What is, we'll finish up here. In your opinion, do you think reel and rod combos, as far as, is there a big, matching the reel with the rod, is that something that you really put a lot into?
I don't. I'm a specific tool for a specific use kind of guy. And, I buy a rod for a certain type of lure, and then I match a reel for that application, or that use.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have you know, a purple rod with a purple reel, or, whatever the case may be. The fish don't care what color it is, and neither do I, as long as it does what I want it to do. But, everyone's got their thing, and we've got guys that want to, special colored reel for a special color rod, or,
Mm-hmm.
you know, everyone's got their thing. Everyone wants to soup it up and make it their own.
Yeah,
So,
no, I get it. Matt, again, down at Crashes, sells a lot of catfish stuff in the summer, and he said catfish guys want their reel to match their rod. He goes, it's the weirdest thing. If they have an orange rod, they want an orange reel of some type.
sure.
It's just, he said, for some reason in the catfishing world, that's a big thing right now, and I never understood that, but hey, to each their own, I guess.
Right. Yep. And, everyone's got their little idiosyncrasy, so to speak, but, it's all fun, and that's what it should be. If that's what you want, then go for it.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Well,
know,
Matt, how can somebody? I'm sure you're always looking for reels to come in. I'm sure you probably have none in there right now.
yeah, we're a little light.
How can somebody get a hold of you to maybe get you products for either cleaning them this winter, or getting something, they come back from a trip and something's wrong, they want to send you something?
Yeah, you can always reach out to us on our website, matsrealrepair.com, or give us a shout, 715-337-2337. That's our shop line.
Yeah, and it's Matt with one T.
Correct. Yeah. Eagle River, Wisconsin. There's a
Yeah.
Matt in Texas. So,
Yeah, or if they're up in northern Wisconsin near Eagle River, they can just come by the shop as well and drop stuff off, can't they?
absolutely. Yeah. We're open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 5 Central Time.
Nice, nice. Well, Matt, I really appreciate it, man. And before I let you go, I just want to say to people out there, if you are going on a fishing trip and you're looking to maybe buy some new stuff, or if you're looking for electronics, rods, reels, think about Thorn Brothers, thornbros.com. They got a lot of stuff there. To me, with electronics, they're one of the best guys to talk to. They're great. They have Fish Electronics is also a part of the store now, so they do rigging and everything, and they're really up on the latest and greatest in the electronics, and they do a hell of a job there. And if you're down south, check out Crash's Landing, right on Cave Run Lake. He's got a whole line of stuff, including his lasso lures that they make. You can check that out at crasheslanding.com. Matt, it was a pleasure. Do not overheat. You guys should be out of this little heat wave here soon. I would assume you're going to start getting some of the cooler stuff, and
Yep.
I'm sure everybody around there is going to really enjoy it. But I appreciate you coming on. Okay.
Absolutely. Great. I appreciate you giving us a shout.
Yeah. Well, let's just hold on a second for me. Okay.
Yep.